and I'll be doing my presentation on the endurance of game and reality TV shows in global media. So before we get into things, we should just talk about what global media is. And so pretty much what global media is that we can all consume the same thing in the same ways, no matter where we are in the world. In not modern time, but before we had technology, we had print. Before we had print, we had storytelling. And now we don't have to hope that we hear a story or that we read this newspaper, because we are all getting the same thing, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. With global technology, we are able to all get the same things. So some early game shows that are still very popular now are Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, Family Feud. Does anybody watch any of these now? Yes, I watch Family Feud with my mom every night when I'm at home. So that's a part of our traditions. And with reality TV, we had An American Family, which is historically one of the first American reality TV shows. It just followed a family. They were called the Louds, and it followed their family, and they just recorded them around the clock, what they were doing every day. The show lasted for one season. It actually ended because the family actually ended up getting a divorce. In 1992, we got The Real World, and Real World really set the tone for reality TV in America in modern times. So a lot of the examples now, like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, stemmed from the same type of setup as The American Family and The Real World. So we'll talk about the Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and we'll talk about how it kind of plays into reality TV with O.J. Simpson. So the O.J. Simpson trial, it is not reality TV. It was his actual life, but the way that the trial happened and the way that it was consumed, it really seemed like reality TV, because it was around the clock, it was uncensored, it was just recording things that were going on for weeks, and it became a public conversation. And so you can look at this chart here, and it shows in the ties about how all of these people were connected to O.J. Simpson that actually are very famous reality TV stars, like Lauren Conrad from The Hills, Paris Hilton, The Simple Life, and of course, all of the Kardashians and the Jenners. They all got their start because of this, and their lives became public. So you market off of those things. They became reality TV stars because what they were actually going through was much like reality TV. So now we will talk about the birth of reality competition shows. So before, we had game shows and we had reality TV, but then we started to have the merging of the two, where it's not like The Real World, where you're just seeing what they do in their life, and then it's not just like Family Feud, where you know their name, you know where they're from, and they're just here to win the money. Now we're at these shows where they're going to win the money, they're doing the competition portion of it, but then you also see what they're going through in the house, what their everyday life is like, what they're eating for dinner, who they're talking to, who they're dating. And so the reality competition shows, they merge the two genres together. And we see this, the rise of all of this really started with Big Brother and Survivor. It was really a beginning of an era because they both came on around the same time, and Survivor was really popular. The year that Survivor came out, the only thing that had more viewings than that was the Super Bowl. So it was very popular, but Big Brother became a national phenomenon. And I will touch on later on how these shows started to stem off and how it's all a part of a bigger culture that I'm going to discuss later. But the finales become bigger. You can see how they grow and they change. In the beginning, there's like 3 million people watching it. By the time you get to the finales, there's about 9 to 10 million people watching a night. And so there was a culture that was created. So we can go back to The American Family. After The American Family came out, Britain was like, wow, we love that idea. So BBC started a show called The Family. And then The Real World started. And even though The Real World started in America, there is a Dutch man named Eric Ladder, and he had a show called Number 22, or Number 28, and he really truly believes that the America stole the real world from him. It was never proven, but he has a lot of theories on how the real world was actually stolen from him. And so Big Brother was started with the Dutch, but then it was brought to America. Other examples like American Idol. American Idol was started in Britain. And that's just how the culture is. You can look at more modern examples like Jersey Shore. And Jersey Shore started with the 7 people in the house, and then it became 7 people at the Jersey Shore, but then there was a British version called Geordie Shore. There was a Japanese version, and they continue to make these same shows. It's the same concept, but it's different parts of different worlds that are doing the same thing. And you know, Japan, you can think about Japan with Fear Factor, and so this is a culture, and it has started, and there's all these different templates of how you can do it. So you're gonna be like, well, we're gonna do a Survivor show, we're gonna lock them in a room, or we're gonna take some teenagers and put them in a house, or we're gonna take a family, or we're gonna take 2 wives and swap families. So there's all of these different examples that you can take that have started this culture that you can see in all types of media, no matter where you are in the world. So now we're going to get into why they are surviving. So first, before we talk about why they're surviving, we're going to talk about reasons why they probably should have died out. So we have the internet now. There is the concept, when TV shows first started, there was this concept of that's your 15 minutes of fame. That is how you're going to get famous. You're going to go on TV. All your family and friends are going to watch you. You're going to become a household name. But with the internet, you can post a video of your dog on Facebook, and then you can become famous overnight. And we have Vine and Twitter and Snapchat and so many other things that will change the way that people become famous. So why do we even still need reality TV when I can just post a video? Another thing is the predictability, the repetitiveness. On a lot of these shows, it's the same things. Like Jersey Shore, you know, for 7 seasons, they did the same thing. You know, there was new drama, but it's the same concept. And you can see that with a lot of the shows, it's a lot of the same thing. And then, is it fake or is it not believable? You know, with reality TV, it's very, you hear it all the time, this is scripted, this is not real, the producers egged it on, or they edited this part out, or this isn't really what it was. So that is why people would, you know, that's why it should have died out, but it hasn't. And so Annette Hill, she really talks about why it has endured and why people still are consuming it. So we're going to talk about a couple of the examples that she said that why they are still around. So one is the drama. And Annette Hill talks about how the biggest shows, like it can be a show, but the episodes when there's drama going on, it is more likely to get more views. So if somebody is going to fight, pop off. If somebody's going to fight, there's going to be more viewings on that episode versus a regular episode where they're just living life and, you know, things are normal. Or if there's a love interest or if somebody's going to do something, if there's some scandal involved, then there's probably going to be more ratings. An example that we can use is the Bad Girls Club. So the Bad Girls Club has 13 seasons. For those who aren't familiar with it, it's about 10 girls, give or take, and they live in a house. They're bad girls because of whatever. They drink, they party, and they fight. That's pretty much what they do. And they've been doing it for 10 seasons. You would think after 10 seasons, you would be tired of seeing girls fight and argue, but no, you were not. They actually have branched out. They have the Bad Girls Club. They have the Bad Girls Club. Tanisha gets married. This is actually Tanisha. She actually became very famous. So with her show, she branched off and she had a spinoff where she was getting married. Then they had, well, Bad Girls Need Love Too, so that was their love show. And then they had the All-Star Battle. So once the All-Star Battle came out, it actually beat out everything else that came on that night. On CBS, TBS, every single TV station. This was the highest watched show that night. Bad Girls Club, All-Stars was the highest rated show because people wanted to see. It was a mashup of the 14 most memorable girls from all of the seasons that came together. And Ray J was the host at the time where him and his Kim Kardashian drama was at the high, which goes back to the OJ thing with Kim Kardashian being famous. So they fed off of Ray J and Kim Kardashian. They put Ray J with the Bad Girls Club, and that is where you get the ratings because people love the drama. The investments. So when you're watching these reality shows, we always are getting spin-offs and they become more because people, they get invested. You know, we became extremely invested in these people. I don't know about y'all. I watched Jersey Shore, and you become invested in this is 10 years later and they have families and kids, but we still care about what's going on in their lives every day. So Jersey Shore, it was on, it served its time, it went away. They was like, no, that's not enough. Let's have them come back. They did one season of Family Vacation, and now they're renewed for not only a second season, but a third season, because people want to know what they're still doing. This is like their family to them. And you can see that with a lot of shows, because the challenge actually started from The Real World, and then The Real World branched off to another show called Road Rules. And then the challenge became the show where the alumni came back and they fought and they wanted to see other things happen, so they just kept bringing the same celebrities back. And from the challenge, we had Battle of the Sexes, we had Inferno, Fresh Meat, Duels, Rivals. You have all of these things, like they know about the rivalry that two of the people on The Real World had, so they bring them back 10 years later and let's talk about the rivalry and how it's still going on. And so we get very invested in what is going on. It's like we care about their lives, they film their weddings and all types of things. So, and the last thing is that they really are just truly entertaining to watch. This psychiatrist, Dr. Carol Lagerman, she says that it's wish fulfillment. We see these shows where these regular people come out and they do these amazing things and they become famous. And it's just like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. Or if I can't do it, I'm just gonna live through them. So it really is just truly entertaining. And also, it's a lot cheaper to make a reality TV show than it is to make a show about teenagers living in a house together. Instead of writing a show about it, having writers, casting actors, why not just take 7 real people and just put them in a house? Because they'll do it for free because they're gonna get paid. And I'm running out of time, but I'm just gonna show you guys a small little clip. All right, it's not gonna load, and that's okay. But I just want y'all to know, reality TV is real.
It's coming up.
No, it's okay, it's okay. We're talking about people who got famous off of reality TV. Donald Trump, reality TV star. Beyonce, Britney Spears, they got founded off of Star Search, reality TV. And so, reality TV is a way to get famous even in modern time. Thank you very much.
Ooh.